Hello, BookTube. I wanted to make a special video with two announcements in it. I'll highlight them in the video title so that you know what I'm talking about here. Two things that affect our October. The first one is Anthony Trollope. At the beginning of the year, I said that we would spend time reading Trollope novels that are not part of any series. That 2020 would be our year of consorting with lonely Trollopes. And a lot of you like that. And that really warmed my heart. The idea that Trollope is finding readers, that people are realizing how good he is wonderful to me. And I made noises recently that maybe I wouldn't do that, that I was hesitant to do a read-along in case I had to drop out, in case I was a little bit traumatized by the fact that I did not participate in the final event of ShakeTube 2020, even though I'm one of its hosts. I was feeling too poorly to contribute. And I was worried that that would happen again, that I would make a commitment to a read-along and not be able to do it. I made a mention of something like that yesterday, and I heard from quite a few of you. Wonderfully, I leave my email on every video explicitly for that purpose. I heard from quite a few of you saying very much the same thing. And I have learned, none of you know each other. You're not coordinating these messages, these emails that I get. So if they all say basically the same thing, I've learned to pay attention to that. And the same thing that was repeated in a lot of those emails that I got was, we don't expect the world from you. So don't worry about not being perfect for us. So that was wonderful. I really, really needed to hear that, more than I thought I did. So that decided me that we will go back to doing Lonely Trollopes, and we will start in October for Preptober, of course. It makes most sense in the world. And I thought, if we're going to come back, let's come roaring back. Let's do a huge standalone Trollope. So that's what we're going to do. For the month of October, we are going to read He Knew He Was Right by Anthony Trollope. And we will start off with the first 20 chapters that we'll cover for this weekend. So it's only Thursday. It's like all of Trollope, it's just amazingly easy to read. But the plan I had in mind was that we would not really concern ourselves. You don't have to really concern yourself with getting those chapters done for this weekend. I will mainly talk about the book for this weekend. And then we'll dig into the nitty-gritty. We'll dig into the details next time. The following weekend with the next 20 chapters. We might have to do more than 20 chapters. This is a fairly long book, but we can hash that all out on the weekend. So the announcement number one is that we are going to go back to consorting with lonely Trollopes, and we're going to start with He Knew He Was Right for Preptober. Preptober, for those of you who don't know, is a BookTube event in which you celebrate the Victorians and celebrate Victorian literature. That is great. I love it. So that will at least be part of our TBR, is He Knew He Was Right. That's announcement number one. And then announcement number two involves Preptober, because in addition to being Victober, Preptober is also a name given to October by devotees of NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month, which happens in November, in which you write 1,667 words a day of a 50,000-word novel in the month of November. And you're not allowed to do anything, any kind of writing before then. You can start writing at the stroke of midnight on the 1st of November, but not before then. But you can plot to your heart's content. You can prepare yourself to your heart's content before then. And that's what we're going to do on this channel. We're going to do Preptober. So I want to know all your projects. I have been dithering about what I'm going to write for NaNoWriMo for months now. Since Camp NaNoWriMo ended, I've been dithering. And that has to stop. And if it has to stop for me, it has to stop for you. So we have to settle. Let's end this game of musical chairs. We have to settle on a writing project that we're going to do for NaNoWriMo so that we can start to prepare for it. And I have the bare bones of the idea of what I'm going to do this time around. Now, I stress bare bones because you don't need to know everything at the beginning of Preptober. You need to know everything at the end of Preptober, not at the beginning. At the beginning, it's perfectly good to know the kind of thing you want to do. What kind of thing do you want to do? And I think I know that. I have a couple of writing projects that are going on now anyway. But when it comes to fiction, I had originally planned on finally writing my massive Legion of Superheroes epic, and doing that on fanfiction.net, since fanfiction is not technically encouraged on NaNoWriMo. And you don't want to do anything on NaNoWriMo. You want to play by the rules with NaNoWriMo. So you know it's no previous work that you're doing. It's no nonfiction. And it's nobody else's material either. I mean, you can bend the rules. NaNoWriMo is nice and informal, so you can bend the rules if you want to. But I always like the idea of adhering to the rules for NaNoWriMo. So if I'm going to write that Legion epic, it's going to be somewhere else. It's going to be for fanfiction.net. But for NaNoWriMo, I have an idea of what I want. I have been talking on this channel for a year now about my search for one device to rule them all. One piece of technology that will do everything I want it to do, so that I don't need to go to any other piece of technology for one particular thing or another particular thing. And the more I think I have found that device, actually, with my new iPad and smart keyboard cover combination. But that got me thinking about that in terms of science fiction, and that plays into a feeling that I had anyway about NaNoWriMo. For both Camp NaNoWriMos, I wrote mystery fiction, country house fiction, and then police procedural. But I feel like writing science fiction this time around. Last NaNoWriMo, Mark Richardson at Richardson Reads wrote science fiction. And the whole time I was writing contemporary fiction, and I was envying him. I was enjoying what I was writing, but I was still envying, because writing science fiction is almost as fun as reading science fiction. So I've decided for NaNoWriMo I'm going to write science fiction. And that a kernel of the story that I'm going to write is going to be one device to rule them all. I think I know the basics, and I will talk about the basics over the course of the month. But one of the important things for me, for my writing, is a working title. And I have one, Kendra Victrix. 2 words, Kendra, and then Victrix. That is the title of my work in progress for NaNoWriMo, and that's what I'm announcing here the first day of Preptober, is that my project is Kendra Victrix. And the idea of it is a young woman who has one device to rule them all already. And it's a device that's common where she's from. Now, she is not an alien. I'm going to have to figure out where she's from. I'd rather it not be the future. I'd rather it be some sort of parallel existence. And but she's human, and her society, all of her friends, her parents are all human. But she ends up on our world in the 21st century. Only she has her one device to rule them all. I'm going to have to come up with a name for it, and the tech about it, what it can and cannot do. And I have to figure out how she ends up stranded here, where she can't get back to her home. And where basically the only companion that she has here to start with is her device. And that's as rough as it is. And that, I want to stress to you, is as rough as it needs to be. For the beginning of Preptober, that's as rough as it needs to be. You just need a basic idea. So that's my basic idea, and I want to know yours. So I'm calling on you to, let's do Preptober together. Tell me your ideas, make videos about them, tell me all about it, email me about it, and we'll go from there. And these things will build detail and momentum until we get to the beginning of November. So those are your 2 announcements. He knew he was right. We're going back to Trollopes for Victober, and Preptober day 1, Kendra Victrix. So I wanted to make this separate so you'd be easy to find it, but I'm going to wrap this up now. So I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.